So it turns out the beta has been extended up until September 22nd. Alright, now my assumption for this is probably because a lot of PC players couldn't get into the game over the past couple of days. Which I know that Sledgehammer said they put out a patch to hopefully fix that for a lot of players. They sent that out yesterday on Saturday, I believe, and yeah, it still hasn't worked for me yet. I don't know, I'm not really gonna worry about that right now because that's not the main topic of this video. So anyways, what's going on guys, it's Rage and welcome back to the Vanguard beta. So here for today's video, it's gonna be a little bit different. This is gonna be more of a sit down and talk kind of video because this is something that has kind of been bothering me since the start of the beta. And I feel like this is a problem with Vanguard that not a lot of people are talking about right now. And I don't want people to sit here and think that I'm malding over such a small issue, but I feel like with this problem, if it continues to be the exact same going into the full release of the game, that it's going to cause a really big issue with Vanguard's identity. I'm not trying to make it sound extremely nerdy or anything like that, but I just feel like this game is not going to be as immersive and as authentic as it could be. And again, and before I get some comments about this is not me complaining about, oh, this game isn't realistic, what is going on here? This isn't an authentic World War II experience, like this needs to be realistic. Like, no, it's not that. Stop. But on a very serious note though, I worry about how this game is going to be remembered in the long run. I know as of right now it's a beta and things definitely can and will change going into the launch of this game. But what might not change is the fact that Charlie Intel tweeted out a couple of weeks ago saying there are no factions in the multiplayer, just Team A versus Team B, allows players to customize their characters and play how they want to play. Which in my opinion is completely fine, especially just because of the fact that, you know, Call of Duty's really been focusing more on operator customization over the past couple of years, especially going back to like, I mean really even CoD World War II. But more so with, you know, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, Cold War, you know, all these bundles in the shop for customizable characters and whatnot. I don't have a problem with that at all, and I don't want anybody thinking that that's why I'm so upset. But what worries me right now is that while this is still a beta, and more than likely this will again change going into the full launch of the game, is that everybody right now in the beta is the exact same character, and it's just very hard to tell who's on your team and who's not. And with that being said though, using Black Ops 4 as a reference, we were literally all picking the exact same characters and customization and whatnot. It's just, in Black Ops 4, it was really easy to tell who was on the enemy team because everyone had these bright lights around their characters. So that's the smaller part of the issue. I know, again, it's probably just a very beta-specific thing, and we'll be able to tell who's on the enemy team a lot better when the full game comes out, maybe. So as it stands right now, again, it's just my team versus enemy team. Captain Butcher is the only voice announcer we have in the game. Everybody looks exactly the same. And again, I'm really not trying to make this sound like super nerdy, but I really feel like in the long run, it's just going to mess with the immersion and the authenticity of this game. So here's the thing. Back in CoD World War II, one of the game's biggest complaints and what I felt like was actually holding the game back was just the fact that it was Americans versus Germans. As far as customization goes, it was pretty lackluster. I didn't really care much for the customization, but what I really like what they're doing here with Vanguard is the fact that they're exploring more theaters and more settings of the war. And I feel like that this game has such a good opportunity to be as, again, for really lack of a better term, not to sound extremely nerdy, but more of like an authentic-ish feeling to the game. Again, I'm not saying this game has to be like super realistic or anything like that. It's not that deep as far as the gameplay goes, but as far as faction-specific operators go, I feel like this game is going to be missing out on a really, really big opportunity to have even more customization for all of the factions. Again, drawing the comparison to World at War, like when you think back to World at War, you had all these badass voice actors in the game and all of the soldiers in the background were screaming in their native languages. It just felt more, again, immersive, especially when playing the war mode in World at War. It made the game feel so much more alive when you got a blitzkrieg going. It just made it feel that much more authentic.
Flag secured! We must now take the next. They are losing the will to fight. Secure their last flag. Get the next flag. Perimeter secured. They're losing it. Take the last flag.
And this has been a thing in literally every single Call of Duty leading up until Vanguard. Even if the team factions, for example in Cold War, is just NATO versus Spetsnaz or something like that, right? You still have different voice actors for all of the things going on, like when you hear kill streaks being called in, and I feel like that just goes into a, it just leaves a better feeling of what that game identifies as, you know what I mean? Thinking back to another game like Modern Warfare 2, when you think of the voice actors in that game, it makes the game feel so much more alive. And again, it just really worries me here with Vanguard because we're not gonna have that that kind of subtle immersion background noise that's going on while we're playing the multiplayer on these different factions. I really feel like they just had a massive opportunity to make this game feel more like World at War and give it that sense of personal flair and immersion to it, and I just don't know why we don't have like an American voice actor like Captain Butcher who's screaming, you know, double kill, friendly UAV inbound or something like that. Have a Japanese voice actor, Russian voice actor, German, whatever, you name it, right? And while Call of Duty is pushing all of these customizations, they could have done so much stuff for like American, Japanese, Russian, German sorts of like customization to put into the game like that. Basically, the point that I'm trying to get at is that while a whole lot of people might not really seem to care about having faction-specific operators, it just makes this game feel a lot more bland than it really should. The game already feels like Modern Warfare 2019 with the engine and everything like that, but it just feels like it's Modern Warfare 2019 in a World War II setting that doesn't really commit to a World War II setting to at least make it feel that much more immersive and authentic. Again, I just can't help but think that they're missing out on a big opportunity to capture something like World at War or like Modern Warfare 2 with these iconic voice actors and whatnot. I don't know though, maybe I'm just too nerdy for my own good, I guess. Maybe I'm just digging down the rabbit hole of something a whole lot of people probably don't really care that much about, but it's just something that I wanted to talk about because I feel like having that kind of stuff, that kind of faction-specific immersion, authenticity, all the nerdy stuff you might want to call it, it just makes the game feel so much more alive. And that's what I'm really worried about with Vanguard, is that it's going to feel extremely bland if that's not in the game. It's almost kind of like, what's the point of having the game theme be World War II? It wouldn't really matter that much in a game like, you know, Modern Warfare or Black Ops or anything like that, just because it's not really a more dedicated time frame, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And now, while this game is in a World War II universe, they're putting their own twist on it, which again, I think is completely fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. I just think that, again, in the long run, I feel like it would just be so much more worth it. The game would just feel so much more alive if we had that kind of stuff to really make it stand out like that. But again though, I don't know if I'm just nerding out over the wrong things. Feel free to go ahead and let me know down in the comment section what you guys are thinking. Again, biggest thing for me, as of right now, as far as the beta goes, I hope that going into the full launch of the game, which again, I'm sure there will be, I hope there's going to be a much better way to tell who's on your team and who's not. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about what's been on my mind as far as this game goes. I don't really know how long this video is. I feel like I haven't done one of these sit down and talk videos for a really long time. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and let me know of what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comment section below. If you guys are interested, feel free to go ahead and join into my Discord that's linked down in the description below, so you guys never miss pings when I post new videos here to YouTube, as well as when I go live on Twitch. Once again, thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. It's been So Rage, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody.